Welcome to Red Ones Go Faster, the first of hopefully many orc battle reports and videos for Warhammer 40,000. I'm Andrew. I'm behind Red Ones Go Faster. I'm an orc player for quite a long time and play a lot of other things too. And I recently have started getting into some second edition Warhammer 40,000 because of all its zaniness and wackiness and weirdness. And decided to break out the Storm of Vengeance campaign series with my good friend Enrico Nardini, who's the owner of Drawbridge Games in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we thought, why not do a set of battle reports about these amazing clashes between the Orks and the Dark Angels in Storm of Vengeance. It was published in 1996 originally, so we are only 29 years late in getting these battle reports done, playing them in 2026. I'm again playing the Orcs, and Rico's playing the Dark Angels. He's doing kind of a mixed first and ninth company of the Dark Angels, and I'm going to be fielding a little bit of Wa Gazgal and a lot of Wa Nazdrag. If you're familiar with the Storm of Vengeance, the first two missions are Gazgal missions, and the remainder are Nazdrag missions until the sort of two units unite together. So I'm going to go through what we're playing, and I'll walk you through this. I'll get some photos from the game, but I did my best to replicate a good old style White Dwarf battle report here, so I hope you enjoy it. So I fielded Gazgal Thraka in the first mission. Part of the fun of the Storm of Vengeance set is you get these little mission briefings, which are the things that are specific to your side. And so you get a sense of what you're fielding and some of the nuance of it, but you don't get to see what your opponent's fielding. So a lot of these scenarios are like mismatched. There's not always equal points. And that's part of the fun of this is the kind of like craziness. This first mission is if you want something done. And basically, Gazgal and Makari are leading the way with some orcs that teleport down. This is at the point where the sort of rumored Orchimedes is kind of behind the scenes on Nazdreg's enormous Space Hulk, and Gazgal has hitched a ride and has just been teleported onto Piscina 4. And the teleport strike is a sudden strike to capture objectives like a power plant in this case. So Gazgal's going first. You get Gazgal and Makari for free. Um, Second edition Gazgal is quite different from current Gazgal, but I'm still using the current model because that's the one I have. Yeah, it's joined by two knobs. One's a Goff knob with heavy armor and a power claw. One is a blood axes knob with heavy armor and a chain sword. There are nine Goff boys with axes and pistols, the classic second edition plastics. And there are nine blood axe boys with shooters to join the blood axes knob. Then I've got three Desco Ludas with heavy plasma and five Desco Ludas all with flamers, which is my version of Burna Boys. One of my favorite units to play with in 40K is the Burna Boys, and five Desco Ludas with Burna with flamers is enough like that. Facing off in this, the Dark Angels, turns out they had 1,500 points to field all told. My force is a little over 500 points. Basically, it's 500 points of orcs plus Gazgal and Makari for free. The Dark Angels, they build 1,500 points of stuff, and then they roll randomly to see which of three contingents each thing in their army is in, and then they have to pick one of those three contingents. And so at the start of the game, Enrico rolled off, and it was clear that the one with the five Terminators was the choice he was going to go with. Also had a Devastator squad that had all the autocannons, the Devastator squad with four las cannons, unfortunately, was not the one he chose. Would have gone a lot even smoother for the Orcs preview if it'd just been four las cannon shots and not the wanton destruction that autocannons bring. And a chaplain with a combi plasma leading the way. Um, so there's my Gazgul and some of the classic plastic Goff boys. I love that. You can see the knob there. I give the knobs banner poles in my force so you can tell which ones they are. Even if they are kind of the older sculpt ones, they still kind of look that way. All my models are on the new base size because I like to use them in 40K 10th edition and coming up in 11th edition. But I wanted to kind of field some fun old classic stuff. You can see a couple of the Space Orc pirates, or not pirates, just Space Orc boys. The metal ones were my Blood Axis squad. So that's what I'm taking here. So this was the beginning. The Dark Angels deploy. They can't be in the power plant. They can be kind of close to it, but they can't be in it. They can be anywhere else on the board that they want to be. And the Orcs move on. And so very exciting. I moved on a turn. Everybody kind of raced into position. So slowed a little bit by some of the terrain. But basically got into position. Everybody ran on the first turn of Orcs. First turn. Here's the layout from my view. You can see it's kind of similar. Actually, this would be after the second turn of movement, it looks like. So a little preview of the Orc stuff. I thought this was the first turn. But I see that the some of the Terminators are dead. Another spoiler. Um, so the Dark Angels, their first turn. The combat squad, they had two of their like basically all four of their autocannons were in the the group that moved into the power plant. They had a group of five of the others, including the sergeant up front. The chaplain was kind of hiding behind them, and five Terminators, kind of hugging some terrain, but also sticking out so they could shoot. Initial shots by the Dark Angels were dreadful. They managed to kill four total orcs in their first round of shooting, which ain't a lot of orcs for a bunch of storm bolters and bolt guns that aren't moving. The orcs were much sort of excited about that process forward. The Hail of Doom would get much worse before it got better. Orcs turn two. The everybody raced ahead. This mission, the goal is orcs win if they have a orc model touching the power plant, and that's it. And so I wasn't going to waste too much time standing and shooting, so I just ran forward. The one unit that did stand and shoot on my turn two were the three Death Skulls with heavy plasma cannons. Two of them, actually heavy plasma guns, I guess they were in second edition. Two of them both hit. It was some great rolling. Three Terminators dead from a fusillade of plasma destruction from two of them. The third one, though, was my opponents used a card that caused their weapon to just explode on them. They survived the hit, but their weapon was done. One of the strategy cards that the Dark Angels got was like a malfunction card. So I reduced my shooting, but still very effective that first turn or that second turn when I actually got to fire. The Dark Angels, on their turn, just continued to try and pour fire into orcs. And another turn of relatively unimpressive shooting. Got one Goff, killed three Blood Axes, and that's it. With their sum total of firepower. Uh, the the autocannons did not do work that turn. They would soon. It was kind of looking good for the orcs, and it was getting a little dire. Um, on Orcs turn three, this is a six-turn game. The Orcs get six turns to get there, and Dark Angels go second, so they get a final chance to clear off any Orcs that are on that power plant. Everybody ran forward this time, except for the quote unquote Burna Boys, Death Skulls. They just moved and they started unleashing some flamer fire, managing to kill one Dark Angel and setting another one on fire, who you will see remains on fire the rest of the game. He doesn't even ever dies. He just spends his time kind of running around panicking because he's on fire while the rest of his squad fights on the rest of the way. But the orcs keep pressing their numerical advantage. The Goths notably tried to charge the Terminators. It didn't. I knew they wouldn't get there, but a charge and a run are the same exact distance, so might as well try the charge in good Orcish fashion. So they gave a run up there. Everybody got moving. The Dark Angels. Their third turn, things started to turn more in the favor of the Dark Angels. The cowardly chaplain scooched back rather than charging forward to face Gazgul as I had hoped. The squad in the ruins did nothing, but the autocannon started to take their toll. Three of the blood axes died to autocannon fire, and the Terminators charged into the Goths, killing two. Those of you who haven't played second edition, you kind of can kill the models you end up touching. And so I was kind of positioned myself so that there's like minimal casualties on the incoming, but still the Terminators got the job done when they moved in. Uh, there they are, finally charging up. That's the way they encountered me. They managed to kill two of the orcs, um, uh, and leaving the other four orcs to be able to charge in next turn and even the scales. Normally in 40K these days, you kind of run up your make sure your knob with power claw is right there in the mix because you want them swinging and they're kind of protected from the unit. In this edition, it behooves you to have as many other Phoebe guys go first, and then your guy with the power claw is the last in the chain to strike because everybody that swung before you, you get an additional dice to attack with. And so it really helps you kind of hopefully beat the Terminators at their own game, though it's super swingy and lots of fun, and that's why we're having a great time with it. Um, Orcs turn four. Again, I'm just rushing to get things ahead. The Death Skull Burna Boys move forward and they manage to kill the sergeant of that combat squad. Gazgul and the remaining two Blood Axes are just getting up as close as they can. The Goths, I get my knob up in the fighting only to have him be the one that dies. All the other orcs managed to succeed, but he rolled like crap, and you roll like crap against a guy with a power fist, and you're done for. So he got smushed. Makari starts sneaking up on the side. We kind of had a quick discussion about whether Makari could score or not if Makari was the last one alive. Makari in second edition has a two-up save, and so can tank a lot of damage, survive a lot of stuff. He also carries the banner. And we kind of were like, well, the mission says any orcs model, and it's plural, so it's probably referring to anything from the Codex. But we agreed that if only Makari was holding the power plant, then that's a draw, not a win for the orcs, because it would make sense to have one goblin skulking in the corner and oh, the orcs won. So that was a pretty clear like, oh yeah, Makari might be the one to do this. We discussed that. So that's turn four. Um, Dark Angels turn four. The finally the autocannons got hot, as did the bolters for the combat squad. Two of the Burnas were killed by those bolters. The autocannons managed to wipe out the rest of the blood axes and inflict some damage to Gazgul. He wasn't done yet, but he did take some damage. Meanwhile, finally, it seemed like forever, a Goth Orc managed to kill a Terminator. Terminators in second edition are amazingly tough. They save on a 3-up on 2d6, and Orc Goffs. Um, uh, they're Scar Boys, so at least they're a -1. So my opponent Enrico need to roll a 3 or less on 2d6 to fail, and finally he did, leaving just the Terminator Captain there. But things are looking much tighter at this point as the Dark Angel's fire really found his footing. Um, Orcs again. I felt the turn counter coming. Um, like my my orc general mascot, orc my orcish Montgomery there in the picture, which I had somebody, an artist, paint for me, which I love. I actually have a war boss. Actually, he's a beast boss that has epaulets for his fur. It's like an epaulets and has a little beret and stuff. Looks just mostly like that. So, but like Montgomery, it was time to race forward. It was we were going to delay. We are just going to race there, and the time be damned. So that's what we did. Everybody kind of rushed forward. Makari got up onto the platform of the power plant. Gazgal rushed right out in the middle. The three Burna Death Skulls kind of ran, and the three Plasma Death Skulls they ran, and the Goths slowly just got cut down by that Terminator Captain. um, Here's Makari up onto the power plant. One of the things I love about Storm of Vengeance is it comes with like that folding cardstock power plant with it. So it's like part of it. You can see like the instructions are in there. It was a lot of fun to set it up. And compared to modern terrain, it doesn't look perfect, but it's so characterful and it looks so much like second edition that I was like, yeah, this is perfect. So I'm gonna love that we get to use a lot of missions that have feature that power plant. The whole point is that Gazgul and Nosdrag are like the more power plants we control, the more we can have energy down on the planet that can help pull people using our teleporters to these spots and up our troops and mass our forces. And so, kind of is the goal is power plants, hence the power plant model. But yeah, Makari got up there, and two of the autocannons turned and face him, and he didn't survive the single shot. First roll, a 1. So Makari was slain the instant he showed his nasty little goblin face. And a good big win for the Dark Angels. So no tie was going to happen. Either the Orcs would win it or the Orcs would lose it going forward. Uh, so turn 5 is when they annihilated that. They also managed to one of the autocannons finished off Gazgul and who was close enough to target, and then another the chaplain and the just lone space marine with the bolter managed to kill two of the Death Skull Ludas that were racing up. The Dark Angel Terminator finally killed the last of the Goths. Two of the Death Skull Burna Boys were killed by the, again, relentless bolter fire coming from the Dark Angels in that ruin that they're racing around. So the end of Dark Angels turn 5. There are exactly 2 orc models left, both Death Skulls. Um, now, my army, everything is painted red because red ones do go faster. So even the Death Skulls, they have red to them, but they're still Death Skulls in this game. Underneath his mask, he totally has a painted face. But they both ran. One took cover kind of underneath there's like a space underneath the power plant. And so the one Death Skull with the big gun ran under there, and the Death Skull with the Berna kind of ran around the corner. So neither of them could be seen by the the unit with all the autocannons. So it was just up to that Terminator and the two not on fire Dark Angels with bolters and that chaplain to finish things out. Um, and so they did. Rico decided that the chaplain would have to, he couldn't chance it, and had to have the chaplain rush up and try and take on the Death Skull in hand to hand. So the chaplain charged. That left the Terminator and the two Dark Angels, who moved into position to be able to see the other Death Skull hiding underneath the power plant. The Terminator fished him out no problem with his shots, gunning him down, leaving just the one Burna Boy locked in hand to hand with the chaplain. There's a picture of the event, and wouldn't you know it, as is always the case in a game that comes down to a single dice roll when you have so much on the line, the Marine player has been clobbering you and all your guys are dead. All you need is that chaplain to just roll the two twos on some dice, and your orc boy rolls a six, and I didn't kill the chaplain, but I didn't die. Because the way second edition combats work, if you win the weapon skill plus highest dice roll, you win the combat and you inflict some number of hits based around the differential. And so no hits were coming from the chaplain. I couldn't be killed. Ended the game with a single orc base to base with the power plant. And so the Orks won in a shocking turn of events. Gazgul had his plan all along. In the back of the book, there's a special table for what happens when any named characters die. And Gazgul is made of sterner stuff, so he was just fine. He got a little shot, but he'll return in future battles. Quite late in the campaign, actually, is when Gazgul kind of comes back. But it was a win for the Orcs, and so I had a lot of fun. Rico had a lot of fun. I mean, I think we agree this is one of the closest, most fun games of any miniature war game we've played in quite some time. It has been a lot of fun. Um, so next up with Storm of Vengeance, the next scenario is called Dark Cathedral. Basically, it's like a urban ruin city fight. The remnants of Wog Gazgul's teleported strike get drawn into like a bloody back and forth. The Cathedral District of Calidus Harbor on Pacina 4. The Dark Angels, first and ninth company elements, what Rico's choosing to field. They kind of regroup and take shelter from the Orcs, choosing loose formation fighting where single warriors face each other in the Shattered Ruins. The second mission in this, every model, like basically there's no coherency, and so every model is kind of alone on its own in this kind of small, really dense rubble thing. And so it's just troopers on troopers. There's a mechanism for if one person loses their effects on the campaign, and they can choose to refight with more points if they want to kind of negate those effects. So it just depends on how often you want to keep this going to represent the fact that Gazgul's initial stuff just kind of like showed up at the city, and Nazdrag starts landing real forces at a different spot outside the city to begin massing the invasion. And the Dark Angels are kind of stuck between them. It's a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to the next steps of this campaign. And if you enjoyed this, please like my tiny little YouTube channel. And I'll be having more of these. There's a total of here, watch Andrew, look things in a old book. There's a total of 9 battles in this, so I'm hoping to have 9 battle reports as we work our way through Storm Vengeance. We play every other week. I'm committing to painting something new every other week for this. It's a big surprise what I'll be fielding in the cathedral. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with it, so I got to get my painting on. So thanks for joining, and I hope whatever you're doing right now, you're having fun playing wargaming in particular, whatever mode of Warhammer 40,000 you're playing. I hope you're having fun with it. And I'm excited about some of the new orcs coming out soon myself. So that's me, Andrew, from Red Ones Go Faster. And oh, yes, wah. Bye.